You know, out in Maharashtra, India, there's this structure that, well, it's just one of the most incredible things on the entire planet. It's a temple that wasn't really built in the way we think about building. Not at all. It was carved, literally sculpted out of a single giant piece of the earth. So today, let's dive into the amazing story of the Kailasa Temple. Okay, so that brings us to the really mind-bending question here. I mean, think about it. If you're standing in front of a solid mountain of hard basalt rock, what do you even do? How in the world do you turn that into a huge, multi-story temple with bridges and pillars and all these incredibly detailed statues?
Well, the answer is just as wild as the temple itself. You don't. You don't build it up brick by brick, stone by stone. No. You do the complete opposite. You carve it down. From the top of the mountain, you basically free the temple from the rock it's trapped inside. And get this, it's the only temple in the entire world built with this insane cutout method.
All right, but before we really get into the deep mystery of it all, let's cover the basics. The official story. What do the history books actually tell us about this place? So this technique actually has a name. It's called monolithic architecture. And all that means is that the entire thing, the whole structure, is carved from one single massive piece of stone. But here's the kicker. The Kailasa Temple isn't just an example of this, it is the largest monolithic structure on Earth. Seriously, nothing else even comes close. So the accepted story, the one you'll find in most textbooks, points to these old copper plate inscriptions. They credit the temple's creation to the Rashtrakuta dynasty, specifically a ruler named King Krishna I, way back in the 8th century AD. And this is pretty much the main piece of evidence historians have, which is why they pin the construction right to his time on the throne. The whole idea behind the temple was to create a symbolic version of Mount Kailash, which is the sacred home of the Hindu god Shiva up in the Himalayas. Just think about this top-down method for a second. It would have required absolute genius. I mean, the entire incredibly complex three-dimensional plan had to be perfectly mapped out in their minds before a single chisel even touched the rock. There was literally zero room for error. One slip-up, one tiny miscalculation, and a pillar, a statue, a whole section could be ruined for good. Okay, so that's the official story. But this is where things start to get a little shaky. Because when you look at the numbers involved in creating Kailasa, they're just so insane, they seem to go way beyond what should have been possible back then. Let's start with the scale of this thing. Archaeologists have estimated that to even create the space for this temple, workers had to dig out and haul away something like 400,000 tons of solid volcanic rock. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that's enough rock to build the Great Pyramid of Giza 1.5 times over. Just let that sink in. And now for the timeline, which is maybe even crazier. The official history, the one based on King Krishna I's reign, suggests that this entire massive job was finished in just 18 years. Right, so when you actually do the math on that, the whole thing becomes almost unbelievable. To get rid of 400,000 tons of rock in just 18 years, well, that means they'd have to be removing over 60 tons a day. And if you assume they're working a 12-hour day, every single day, that's more than 5 tons of hard basalt rock being chipped away and removed every single hour. That's a pace that would be a serious challenge for our own modern machinery today. And believe me, the mind-boggling numbers, that's just the start of it. The temple is wrapped up in all these other deep puzzles that still have researchers scratching their heads. Okay, first off, where did all that rock go? We're talking 400,000 tons of debris, and there is absolutely no trace of it anywhere near the site. It's just gone. Then you've got the engineering. It's just way ahead of its time. We're talking interconnected bridges, sophisticated systems for harvesting and draining rainwater, and even special acoustic designs. All of which, remember, had to be part of the plan from the very beginning. And if that's not enough, the whole thing seems to be practically indestructible. Yeah, check this out. In the 17th century, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb actually ordered the temple to be destroyed. He sent 1,000 workers to do the job, and after 3 years of trying, they gave up. They barely managed to cause a little bit of damage to some of the statues. It's an incredible story, and it sounds a lot like that attempt in the 12th century to take down the Menkaure pyramid in Egypt. In that case, too, the workers eventually just threw in the towel after only leaving a small gash. These things were seriously built to last. So what's the deal here? How do you explain it? The crazy timeline, the vanished rock, the super advanced design. It all kind of boils down to two very different ways of looking at it. Okay, so on one hand, you have theory A, Unprecedented human genius. This idea says, look, this was achieved by generations of absolute master craftsmen. They had incredible 3D visualization skills, immense dedication, and they did it all with simple tools like hammers and chisels. But then you have theory B, which suggests something else entirely: lost advanced technology. This theory brings up ancient legends of devices like the Brahma Astra, which was said to be able to, well, make rock disappear. Proponents also point to things like that strange X marker on the roof, which you can only see from the sky, as possible clues.
And you can see this split in how people talk about it. Take Sadhguru, for example. He really champions that first view, the power of human achievement. He basically says we shouldn't be so quick to credit aliens or some lost technology when human beings are capable of doing amazing things. For him, Kailasa is a testament to what we can do, a reason to be proud of our own potential.
But then you've got others who look at the very same evidence and come to a totally different conclusion. The folks at the channel Megalithomania UK, for instance, they really zero in on that huge problem of the missing rock. They argue that you don't just make that much stone vanish into thin air. For them, its total disappearance points to something more than just hammers and chisels, some kind of technology that we've completely forgotten about. So, after looking at all the evidence, the numbers, the competing theories, we're still left facing this one huge, unanswered question. We know who gets the credit, the Rashtrakuta dynasty. We know what it is, the world's biggest monolithic structure. We even know why they made it, to honor a god. But the biggest question of all, the how, that remains a total mystery. The methods just seem to fly in the face of everything we think we know about what was possible back then.
And really, that's the ultimate riddle of the Kailasa Temple, isn't it? Is this amazing place the greatest monument to the absolute peak of human skill and dedication, all done with simple tools? Or is it evidence of something else, a piece of a forgotten history, a legacy of some kind of knowledge or technology that's just been lost to time? For now, the answer, whatever it is still locked away in that stone.